809, 33 degrees at Wall Radio. Good morning to you. It's Thursday, January the 4th, and I have a guest with me in the studio. Welcome. Burt Thelander is here from Orange Pathways, and which is part of Vision Hudson Valley, to talk about the trails
Well,
in Orange County and beyond. Welcome.
well, thank you for the opportunity to talk with the public about our efforts to promote trail development in Orange County and in the region. And I'm an active member of the Pathways Committee, as you mentioned, a component of Vision Hudson Valley. I'm also an active member of the Outdoor Club in Port Jervis. They're trying to promote trail development in the watershed area and promote other recreational opportunities in the city of Port Jervis. But I wanted to talk about what we're trying to accomplish and some of the recent efforts that we're trying to move forward. The Pathways Committee collaborates with a wide array of Orange County departments: planning, parks, tourism. We also collaborate with Tom Fagione, the Orange County legislator that is for the Port Jervis Deer Park area. And we also collaborate with a bunch of volunteer groups: New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, the Orange County Land Trust, the Outdoor Club, Open Space Institute. And we also have been making an effort to collaborate with other regions like the Sullivan County O&W Rail Trail Group, and we've begun recently to collaborate with an Ulster County group. And there's a lot of challenges to promote non-motorized trail development in areas. There's funding difficulties, ownership difficulties, sorting out what the options might be. In Orange County, there's a lot of railroad grades from the 1800s, 1900s that are no longer in use, and we've learned about how those railroad grades can be evaluated for transition to non-motorized trail options. And we've had some recent success. We've done a lot of work. The Pathways Committee and the Orange County groups and not-for-profit groups that I mentioned has had success in promoting extension of the Heritage Trail. A recent section from Goshen to Middletown was completed.
Yes.
There is funding for a section from Middletown to Howells. That's going to begin construction, we hope, later this year or in 2025. We also have collaborated, Pathways, more Orange County Planning has collaborated with the Open Space Institute to get ownership of the railroad grade from Chester to Salisbury Mills, the railroad station in Salisbury Mills.
Yeah.
So that's been funded. That rail grade is going to be transitioned into a paved rail trail, 2024, 2025. And then we've also recently there has been what we call a bikeway vision that the Orange County Planning Department and Parks Department of Public Works has proposed to develop a rail trail network throughout Orange County. And there are a lot of benefits to this that have been identified in the Bikeway Vision, which is accessible on the Orange County Planning website if you want to look at it.
Okay.
But there are the benefits. Vision Hudson Valley, sponsored what we called a placemaking conference in early June of this year.
What is a placemaking conference?
Well, it's a annual Vision Hudson Valley sponsors an annual gathering of people to take a look at different quality of life factors. This year, I'm a member of Vision Hudson Valley. We put on the placemaking conference to take a look at the benefits of trails, non-motorized trail development.
Okay.
So we had a wide array of folks come in and talk about the economic benefits, the recreation benefits, health benefits. The mayor of Middletown came in and talked about that. Open Space Institute representatives came in and talked about that. We had a guy from a statewide bikeway group come in and talk about the benefits. So we learned that there are an array of, as I mentioned earlier, economic, recreation, health, and also with the COVID pandemic, getting people outdoors to recreate, to mitigate some of the impact of COVID is something
To move, just to move their
exactly.
bodies. Yes.
So we're trying to promote that. Now, with this Bikeway vision, this document describes an array of railroad grades and right-of-ways that can be used for a wide array of trails. One is from Middletown to Slate Hill to Unionville. One is from Howells, Otisville, Westbrookville. One is from Port Jervis up to Westbrookville and then further up to Kingston. There's also sections from Goshen to Campbell Hall to Walden.
Now, are these existing sections, or are they areas that you are hoping can be developed into good trails?
They're areas that we hope that can be developed into effective, accessible trails.
Okay.
I've learned from, there's a guy, Alan Sorensen. He's the Orange County Planning Commissioner.
Yes.
I've learned a lot from working with him and his colleagues about the challenges, like who owns it, is the right-of-way able to be transitioned into a trail, is the right-of-way something that has challenges that need to be addressed in terms of ownership. There's a lot of difficulties, and then also finding funding resources to do this. There have been a lot of federal legislation passed in the last year or two, some state legislation passed to promote funding of non-motorized options, also to reduce the use of fossil fuels, to mitigate the climate change crisis that many of us think is occurring. So these trails that I'm talking about that we've been thinking about planning require a lot of preparation work to get at, as I said, who owns it?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a right of way?
Right.
How can we gather a consensus that putting a trail there will benefit the community, things of that nature. So this bikeway vision, there's also the issue of equity, like promoting trail use by vulnerable populations, promoting transportation options to complement vehicle use, also connect with transit centers. Like we've got thoughts about connecting with the Campbell Hall train station, the Otisville train station. There's a thought of extending the trail from Monroe to Harriman, the Harriman train station, so people can get to those transit hubs without using vehicles and then use transit, not cars, to get to work. So that's part of the vision, the bikeway vision that we're trying to promote. And then there are a lot of railroad grades in Orange County. Like we've learned a lot about that in the last year or two. So we're trying to sort out how do we get access to these railroad grades, who owns it, et cetera, and then begin the development, planning, and funding of those areas. And then I mentioned some of the different sections that we're trying to promote development of rail grade into trail use. Mm-hmm. There's also a group, the Orange County Transportation Council. This is a group in Orange County that is part of the metropolitan New York City transit region. I'm may not be using the right words, but that's a group that meets monthly. Pathways has been making a lot of recommendations to promote non-motorized transportation options to complement roads, highways, things of that nature.
Now, when you say non-motorized, everybody thinks bicycles and walkers or runners.
Yes.
What else should I be thinking about?
Well, there's a lot of debate about electric scooters, electric-powered bicycles.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, they are motorized.
So we're trying to sort that out.
Okay.
But non-motorized would mean that mopeds, gas-powered mopeds, gas-powered motorcycles would not be allowed.
Okay.
Any kind of vehicle with a gasoline engine would not be allowed.
Okay.
So that's what we mean by non-motorized.
Thank you. Okay.
And there's also a lot of issues about safety. Like the Heritage Trail is safe. It's paved. There's markers on intersections. to keep cars, aware of people walking, biking back and forth.
Hmm.
So safety is a big issue.
Sure.
And then, so the efforts, so we've been trying to engage the Orange County Transportation Council. That also has like town supervisors, small city mayors on it, as well as planning, Orange County DPW. I think there's a New York State DOT representative that attends that meeting every month. Right now, Gary Spears, the town of Deer Park supervisor, is a member of that group. They've got rotating membership of town supervisors throughout Orange County. So we're trying to promote awareness of the value of trails throughout Orange County. And
Is there anybody left that is not yet sold on how beneficial they've been?
well, there is resistance.
Really?
There are people that have fears about trails in their backyard. Like in Orange, in the town of Deer Park where I live, there's the O&W Railroad grade that we're taking a look at. We, Open Space Institute, other entities are taking a look at the Delaware and Hudson towpath. They might be accessible for development of a rail trail.
Okay.
There are people that are worried about crime. If the trail goes through their backyard, it's going to provide more access to people to come and,
And steal things.
yes.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to address that, and then also quads, like quads non-motorized would mean quads would not be allowed on these trails. There are a lot of people that ride quads and go on these trails, so that
like ATVs,
yeah,
you mean?
ATV,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
exactly, ATVs. So, and these fears are valid. I mean, we want to address them, but there's not a lot of evidence that trails create more crime in people's houses. We've collaborated with national groups to sort that out, and there really is not a lot of evidence to indicate that would be something that landowners should be worried about. But again, those fears are valid. We're trying to address them.
Yeah, sure. Sure. What is it that you're hoping to get some help with today?
Well, we've been making an effort to promote funding. Now, there are county, state, and federal expectations about funding. Now, we've talked with Tom Fagione. He's the majority legislative leader. He's said that he supports the bikeway vision, but then how do we get the money from the county? The county legislature has signed off on it, approves it. Orange County, the bikeway vision. Orange County Transportation Council had a meeting in December, which I participated in virtually. They signed off on it. So there's like overt.
There's progress. Yeah.
County, I think the county exec, Mr. Newhouse,
Mm-hmm.
approves it. The planning commissioner, Alan Sorensen, reports to him. So we've got the approval lined up, but where's the money?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's.
And then we, the Pathways Committee, and we've tried to collaborate with the Orange County Planning Department because that bikeway vision, that planning and other people that developed that document really defined specific funding needs, like, as I mentioned, county, state, federal.
Mhm.
So the Pathways Committee, some of us have begun to reach out to our elected reps, Senator Skoufis, Assemblyperson Brabennick, and Representative Ryan. We've talked with their staff and some of them directly. So in 2024, the legislative session is just beginning in New York State. We're going to reach out to them with more specific requests about funding.
Okay.
But that.
You need us to contact our elected officials.
Yes.
To express our support.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely.
We need to take a break. Let's come back and talk more. Burt Thelander is here from Orange Pathways, talking about the rail trails galore all through the Hudson Valley, especially Orange County.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more. Wall Radio 825, 33 degrees. With me in the studio, Burt Thelander, talking about the trails and pathways, especially for non-motorized travel. I was going to say vehicle, but
Yeah.
but no, your feet, I guess, count as
Well,
a vehicle.
feet and bicycles,
Yep. And families pushing strollers.
Yep.
I've seen that too. And
Yes,
people walking
yes.
with their dogs, and they carry the little baggies for when the puppy makes a pit stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm an RN, and I work in healthcare, and
Mhm.
the value of outdoor physical activity in terms of health, longevity is really becoming evident. So
Well,
we want to
yes.
get people outside, give them safe opportunities, so that's part of the vision statement that's in that Bikeway vision.
Okay. So you need people to reach out to their elected officials and say,
Yes.
please fund the Bikeway
Vision.
vision.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Bikeway vision came out about 2 months ago. It's been signed off by the county.
Mhm.
So, and as I mentioned, I've been very active with my Pathways colleagues, Senator Skoufis, Assemblyman Brabennick, and Representative Ryan. We've reached out to them. We're going to reach out to them now in the beginning of this year to make more specific requests for funding. Now, we Pathways members are learning more about that from the Orange County Planning Department, tourism, parks. So you can reach out via email. You can make a call to their local office and just saying, I live in Deer Park. I think this is important. I would like you, if you're talking to a staff person and the elected representative, to support this.
Mhm.
So that's really important. Tom Fagione is a member of our committee. He's aware of the efforts. He supports Bikeway Vision. So if you have a legislator in other, I think there's like 21 legislative districts, contact your Orange County legislator. So that's really, really important, because to use the vernacular, just show me the money.
That's right.
And I've done lobbying for nursing groups in the past, so I've got some sense of how this works or doesn't work.
If people aren't really familiar with the trails, just Google the Heritage Trail and
Yes.
set foot on it just a little
Yes.
bit
Yep.
and see how beautiful it is, how nicely kept
Mhm.
it is, how respectfully people treat it. No
Mhm.
litter. I mean, hardly any
Yeah.
litter. It's nice and level and flat. You can
Yep.
safely and comfortably ride a bike on it, push a stroller, or just walk and chat with people without having to stare at your feet because you're
Yes.
going to trip over something.
And that's one real advantage of railroad grades is
Yeah,
the
they're
grades
level.
are flat.
Yes.
So we've and people don't want to be going up like 5%, 10% grades. They want like 2%, 3% grades. So a lot of the stuff we're working on meets those expectations. And another like bikeway stewardship. So we, the Pathways Committee, we've begun to talk with planning, parks, tourism about how can we gather groups of people to volunteer to help manage the bikeway trails.
Let me know when you need volunteers, and we'll
Yeah.
put out a call on the air.
Yeah, because that's something we've just begun to address and meet with the Orange County leadership on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing, I'll keep this brief, but like regional collaboration, like the Sullivan County group, Sullivan O&W Rail Trail group, they meet monthly. I'm active in that group.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to promote railroad grade, O&W railroad grades, which there are a lot of them in Sullivan County, to promote what we're trying to accomplish in Orange.
Right.
And then there's an Ulster County group that meets in Kingston. I've connected with a couple of leaders of that group. They're trying to do similar things, like Westbrookville up to Kingston. So that's something that we're trying to promote also.
Okay.
But the last thing, we really want to get rid of the silos. We want to get everybody on the same page. Planning, parks, tourism, Open Space Institute, the public, the not-for-profit groups. So we want to push this in an organized manner.
And how would people contact you if they want to get involved?
Well, my home landline,
really? Okay.
845-754-8876. If you call and it's not picked up, leave a message that you want to talk about trail development.
Right, because you might be out bicycling on the trail.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And so I really thank you for the opportunity to share this vision with the public, and thank you very much.
There's been a lot of progress since you were here last year,
Yeah,
so let's hope you could come back in a year and give us a big thumbs up then, too.
will do.
Thank you so much. Burt Thelander from Pathways, they're part of Vision Hudson Valley, Orange Pathways. Did I get all that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, good. Thank you for being here today at
You're
Wall
welcome.
Radio. It's 8:30. That means we got to do a news update for you. We'll start with CBS.